This, of course, is from Fox. They're all upset that President Trump's announcement that if Washington State doesn't get it under control, he's going to control it nationally because it'll get out of order and spread to other cities. Well, he laid the hammer down, President Trump did, so it's up to Washington to see if they're going to do anything. If they're not, then Trump will, federally. Here goes.
This is a threat to public safety.
Well, because there's no law and order. What we're seeing is an experiment in infantile behavior. There are humans on this planet who can't value something until it's taken from them. So they have no idea, like, how to make anything. Where does food come from? Electricity, it just comes through the walls. So they don't realize this until it's all gone. It's kind of like when you're in a relationship and somebody dumps you, and then you go, I didn't know what I had was so special. So now the irony is they're realizing the importance of boundaries. They're building walls. They're realizing that they're setting up their own law and order, and it's actually kind of hyper-violent. They're even doing some kind of Jim Crow crap where they're separating races because that's ultimately what happens with leftism. They're trying to figure out that maybe commerce might help them. So now they're actually figuring out that having no structure is leading to fascism. This is a Lord of the Flies situation. And I think the good news is it's devolving fast. At some point, they're going to run out of everything, and then they're going to return to the population and annoy the rest of us. But maybe they might just be a little bit wiser, although I doubt it.
All right. Dana, why do you think there's a need for the federal government to intervene if you do think that? Because the state and local officials, as the president indicated, don't see any threat, don't see any problem in terms of public safety.
So I was thinking about this today because a part of me feels like if they all think this is some big festival and a big party and the local people are like, well, if that's how they really feel, then perhaps letting that experiment go on is okay. However, you saw the police chief from there being very honest and blunt and saying she knows what's going to happen. She actually loves her city. She didn't want to abandon the precinct. She thinks this is bad. And to President Trump's point, you've already seen the other people try to do something similar, like in Nashville, of all places. So his point is that it could spread is a good one as well. One of my problems with these guys is that they're so inept. They can't even decide what to call themselves. It was Chaz and now it's Chop, but they can't decide what the O stands for or the P. So now they're super confused. Plus, they take conventional security to help them deal with their issues. They actually had to call in a real fire truck to help them put out an actual dumpster fire. Then someone took bad drugs and they had to call an actual ambulance. And then you have the fact that they're playing dodgeball in the street. What happens when somebody's eye gets taken out by one of those things? I mean, somebody has to figure out. But basically, one, nobody has parents. Nobody has parents.
You mean the parents should call him home, Dana, huh? Yeah.
They probably don't want him to come home.
Jesse, let me just ask you. Jesse, I mentioned last week, and I still am stumped by this. In 2016, I think it was, there was a group of gun-toting people took over a federal wildlife reserve in Oregon. It disrupted federal government workers, and there was no outcry.
These guys don't know what the hell is going on. Hate to say it, but that situation in Oregon was a lot more important, and it's about a federal land grab. Again, for reporters, they sure don't know what's going on. Pathetic.
Outcry from the far right, but outcry over this. What's the difference?
I don't remember much about the story. I do remember that they had some sort of what they thought was valid legal claim to the land or to the property, and it was like, what, some cabin out in the middle of nowhere? Okay, this is 6 city blocks in the middle of a hustling, bustling metropolitan area with small businesses right there. So a little bit different, but neither here nor there. God forbid, Juan, if this country is ever invaded, because Seattle would be the first city to fall. I mean, is the mayor French? Because she surrendered before there was even shots fired. Think about it. She has allowed a bunch of hitchhikers and radical ideologues to come into her city and basically build a fort Like a 12-year-old would build a fort in your house and start making demands, and now she's really poorly negotiating with them, and no one knows what's going on. If you think about it like this, I think I know why. Number one, they had to change their name, Dana, because Chaz was the name of Will Ferrell's character in Wedding Crashers. That was the guy that lived in his parents' basement and wore pajamas all day. Remember Mom, the meatloaf? Right. So they thought that was maybe too close to home, so they changed it to Chop, which I guess is sturdier and is going to send shivers up the spine of this mayor. But I think it's because the mayor and the governor, Inslee up there, they're baby boomers. And their characters were forged in the 60s protest era. So they like this.
Again, I don't think the news knows what's going on. How many people came into that city and rallied and did this? And from surrounding areas, I don't know who organized it, but it's not very well organized. But it appears to be another publicity stunt, another media stunt. And how real is it? It's dangerous if you got weapons and you got citizens breaking up stuff, starting fires, or shooting up stuff. I don't know if anybody's shooting up stuff, but spraying stuff, starting fires, destroying windows and businesses and other things. Not too smart. But our mindset as a society is very weak, and it's dangerous when you don't have principled people.
Fight the power, fight the police, fight the system, peace, love, and all that deal. And they have a soft spot for Chaz. And they're going to give Chaz, like they did Antifa and the looters, a nice soft off-ramp out of this thing. Because deep down, they want to give this group a room to be radical. Because they're kind of living vicariously through this thing. It's the new generation. But they're just not treating them the same. Because if there were those Bundy people, whoever Juan was talking about, in the city, they'd have snipers on the roof ready for the kill shot.
Again, bad reporting. This Bundy deal is a lot worse than people know. And it was over a land grab. And they killed some innocent people that were trying to stand up for their rights that were being taken, and their land, which was being taken. Again, very bad reporting, unfortunately.
Well, all right. Dagan, is this about President Trump trying to paint all protesters as terrorists, Antifa, a threat, without any evidence? And even though...
Here. I don't like this guy at all. I never have. I never will. I don't like his liberal attitude, but Fox likes to play both sides and pretend it's conservative when it's not.
Yeah, they should have stuck with the name Chaz if it was all about the love and the kumbaya, because Chaz sounds like, I don't know, a new flavor of gelato. Or maybe interpretive dance that they only do with their toes. It's actually about Trump with what the governor and the mayor are doing. That's why they're trying to make it about Trump and essentially egg him on. Where in the hell is the governor? Where's Jay Inslee? Because again, it's the Fifth Amendment right and obligation to provide some semblance of law and order for the state. And you know what? This is Seattle is Seattle itself and the surrounding area is the hub for large tech companies. Amazon's based there, Starbucks, Costco, Microsoft is nearby. Why aren't those tech executives on the ring-a-ding-ding with the governor to tell him to get his act together and get rid of these layabouts and put them back to work?
We're becoming very civil disobedient. We've been for quite a while. But with this federal funding, with this layoffs, with a lot of things, people are upset. They're going to pick something to frustrate, send out their frustrations. But it's dangerous when you're into mob violence, when you're into wrecking stores, painting things, burning up things, looting things, controlling things. What isn't talked about is the businesses that are in threat. That was a little talked about, but not much. And those small businesses got to be pretty concerned. And they're probably hoping that their storefront doesn't get wrecked or sprayed or messed up. They're hoping that these people will go away and the government will get their act together. But evidently the mayor and the governor don't have their act together. So what's Trump going to do? I don't know. We'll see. Not a very good situation, and it shows us that the battle between state and federal and city is still on, and someone's going to show their muscle one way or another. These people are going to be put in their place one way or another, whether it's by Trump or someone else. I hope. We'll see what happens. This story isn't done. Good day.